There's a war waging across Britain. The war for lawn and order.
Yeah, I would say I am obsessed with it.
I'm now switching the lawn.
Across the country, an interesting bunch of lawn fanatics are at play.
The one video is now at 4.8 million views.
Every day I get up in the morning, I say, yeah, let's go look at some more grass.
There's striped lawns, immaculate lawns, and lawns gone wild.
I think lawns are peculiarly English.
Welcome and enjoy the wonderful world of lawns.
I've never let my child play on it.
And those who create them.
Obviously a bit of a fetish.
There's nothing quite so British as sitting on a lawn enjoying strawberries and cream. But there's a lot more to grass than meets the eye. This superplant covers almost a quarter of our planet. It absorbs enormous amounts of carbon dioxide and releases huge amounts of oxygen. In fact, a 50 by 50 foot lawn produces enough oxygen for a family of 4. So take grass away and we're probably not here. Impressive stuff. But for our unique individuals who unashamedly rejoice in the love they have for their lawns, it's all about looks. And whilst many believe theirs is the best, in Doncaster, Stuart Grindel has the certificate to prove his really is.
That was when I won the best lawn in Britain.
Yes, in 2017, at the ripe old age of 74, Stuart won the coveted title of Best Lawn in Britain.
I actually won a rotary mower. But obviously a rotary mower isn't good enough for this type of lawn. So I gave it to my aunt's nephew.
Well, clearly being the champ is enough for this lawn lover.
Oh, it's an obsession. It's an obsession.
And it's an obsession that means a lot of hard work. But Stuart is more than happy to lavish his lawn with a whole lot of love. It's kept at precisely 10 millimetres, which is achieved by mowing twice a day, 3 times a week.
A lot of people think they can cut the lawn once a fortnight, and that's okay, but it's not. You've got to cut them at least once or twice a week to get a decent lawn. The normal mower you would buy has 5 blades. Mine has got 10. And that gives a better and a finer cut. More blades you have, the finer the cut.
And for Stuart, a lawn isn't perfect without meticulous edging.
And when you think, every one of those movements is only 35 millimetres. So you imagine going right round here and right round there, it's a good hour's job.
Now it gets more extreme. Yes, Stuart sweeps his lawn.
I'm now switching the lawn to take the dew off. So by knocking the dew off, I'm letting the air get to the grass. So it doesn't cover the grass and have a warm film of air between the dew and the grass.
This moist, warm air can create the perfect environment for fungal diseases like fusarium, a lawn's worst nightmare. And if you think this lawn obsession is just about waging a war on dew and diseases, think on.
Scarify it. I do this 4 times a year. So this is what you're picking out. So this is the grass which is laying flat to the ground. So you're cutting the coarse grass off and you're giving the fine grasses chance to grow.
After taking from his lawn, Stuart likes to treat it to a healthy dose of overseeding. But of course, it's not just any seed.
Now that is the grass seed I use. That is pure bent. You see how fine it is? It's 5 times the price, but that is what required to get a good lawn.
There are 3 species of bent grass, each with distinct characteristics. But all of them have very fine leaves and produce a lawn that can be mowed shorter than any other grass. Perfect for Stuart's obsession to keep his lawn looking like a bowling green.
I've never let my child play on it. Well, they wanted to play football on it, which they'd be skidding all over the place. It's 20 years since we had a summer holiday because I couldn't get to cut the grass and I didn't want to leave it a fortnight.
Well, if this isn't dedication, I don't know what is. And as for his wife of 50 years, Anne, to get his attention away from the lawn takes more than the usual holler.
Stuart!
Righto!
Tea, please.
We wouldn't blame Anne if she felt rather put out competing with the love of Stuart's life. But she isn't.
Very proud of him. He worked very hard, but he was very happy with it.
Oh, yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah.
We're inspecting the lawns of Britain and those who love them, a little bit more than most. And what better lawn to inspect than one of the most recognisable in the UK, thanks to a certain television programme. Oh, rather dashing fellow on the left. Set in the rolling hills of Hampshire is a castle one finds extremely familiar, Highclere Castle. Paul Baker is the head gardener.
I'm the one that takes responsibility for the mowing of all the grass. But I've got about 48 acres I look after immediately around the castle for the visitors to enjoy and, of course, Lord and Lady Carnarvon to enjoy.
Ah yes, no castle would be complete without a lady. And the Carnarvon's family have lived at Highclere since 1679. Lady C is rather fond of the many varieties of her impressive lawns.
We are meeting on the east lawns of the castle. These were originally in medieval times auctions, I believe. And then in the time of the 18th century, it was set out to more lawns. And then we move on to the time of British Brown, who was really the master of creating the extraordinary house in a beautiful setting, which involved large, expansive lawns.
Stately homes were where perfectly manicured lawns were first created. They were the ultimate way to show off and flaunt your riches. Capability Brown designed many of them. He's Britain's most famous landscape designer, and during the 1700s he worked at countless sites, including the lawns of Blenheim Palace, Chatsworth House, and Hampton Court Palace, and of course the 1,000 acres of parkland here at Highclere Castle.
In those days, the main grass mowers, as today, are sheep, but closer to the castle, it would have been scythes in those days.
Cutting grass with scythes took a huge amount of time and manpower. One of the reasons having a lawn was restricted to the rich.
So how long, Paul, does it take to mow the lawns in the summer, do you think?
2 days with everybody on it. This time of year, you spread it out through the week.
And you were also
Start
always trying
Wednesday.
to mow around Downton when they were filming here, weren't you? Because otherwise you'd mow the black cables, which had
Yeah,
electricity or something going through them.
Yeah, Downton had their own sets of requirements.
Well, Paul, when you've won several BAFTAs, a few Golden Globes, and more Emmys than I can count, one might well have some requirements.
I think lawns are peculiarly English, and again it comes out of British Brown in the 18th century, and the great houses and the grandeur, and the fact that you could employ men to simply scythe the lawns when other people would be growing it for hay. So in that way it does represent those who have and those who do have not, and it's showing off to the world. I don't think we're tied to the past, but we are aware of it and bringing it forward into what I think people want today, which is to be a little bit more relaxed about a lawn. It's not It's not a beautiful mowed Wimbledon tennis or bowling lawn. It's a lawn which we're inviting people to walk along, to take their shoes off and enjoy. So I think that's far more important.
Spoken like a true lady. But not everyone agrees. For some, it is all about the perfectly mowed lawn, in particular, the quintessentially British stripes. Today, all sorts of intricate shapes are carved into grass, and there's fierce competition to be the best. Every August for the last 9 years, lawn fanatics from around the globe have battled it out to become the Owlet's Creative Lawn Stripes champion of the world. And just outside Birmingham is one of the winners. It may not be the grandest, but when it comes to lawns, Keith's is proof that size doesn't matter. It's what you do with it. Keith won the Owlet's Creative Lawn Stripes competition in 2018, and since then, his lawn has become an internet sensation.
My daughter put a few videos of TikTok of me time-lapsing my lawn, and the one video is now at 4.8 million views.
Keith spends hour upon hour creating works of art, but this is his winning design.
I went to pick my daughter up from school and the phone rang, and there was a phone call from Highclere Mowers to say congratulations that you've won the competition. I was well chuffed. It was in all the national papers really, so it went a bit berserk. Yeah, 2018 was a bit nuts. Striped lawn competition, winner 2018. The elation that it felt was just amazing. You were buzzing for weeks after it because the amount of effort and the time that went into that winning design. I was mowing it before I went to work, when I got home from work, and then in the evening, so it was getting cut 3 times a day. If I didn't win it that year, I think it would have really deflated me for the next year.
This was Keith's 3rd attempt to win the title, and the winning design took him a whopping 273 hours of cutting over 3.5 months.
He got me the winning mower. The mower and all the attachments that came with it, because these are all slotted cartridges, you can pull them out and put different attachments in there, and I think it was just short of £3,000.
But in the summer heat, when grass grows quicker, his masterpiece could have disappeared in as little as a week. So he put his winning mower to good use. And it's fair to say Keith loves a mower. It's what started his lawn obsession. But he actually won the competition using an old, cheap model.
The old-fashioned push mower with a roller on the back. I have got 2 of these, the other one's in the garage. One was picked up on Gumtree, and the other one was picked up on eBay. One was £30, one was £40.
It's thanks to these cheap old mowers that Keith's winning designs can be created, as the blades can be set at different heights.
I think the one was at 9mm, and the other one was at, I think it was 5.5mm, so it would give you that step definition, so the pattern just popped out.
So come on, Keith, share your secrets to a stripy lawn.
Stripes come from the rear of the mower. On the back of your mower, you'll have a roller. All it's doing is pushing the leaf of the grass forward, which will give you a light stripe. And when you're coming back, it looks like a dark stripe. So all it's doing is just folding the leaf of the grass over. So that's what a cylinder mower does.
It's the reflection of the sun on the bent-over grass that creates the iconic stripes.
So let's start her up. So what I'm doing now, focusing on the corner of the lawn, trying to keep the mower in a straight line and hit the corner. So I've turned round now. I can still see that same line at the side, so I'll run it down the side of that line. Hopefully, it will give me that fairly straight stripe, but it's just keeping that eye on the side of the mower. So just keep mowing. So satisfying just seeing a striped lawn. To me, anyway. As they say, the great British striped lawns.
It's best to cut high, as the longer grass is easily folded and will ensure the best contrast. And to really intensify, go over the stripes again with the roller and the mower off.
So there we have it. All done.
But what if one doesn't have a mower with a roller?
Just a normal, standard broken broom. And then just push down. And you can see that it will give you effect of a light and a dark stripe. So you can just put a stripe into your own lawn if you haven't got a roller mower. Just use a broom.
Top tips from the champ himself. But what if you want the perfect lawn yet have no idea how to achieve it? Well, take a shortcut and buy it from a turf farm, like this one in Lincolnshire, where the most luxurious grass is lovingly grown.
It just makes me want to just to roll about on it or have a lay down.
Richard Owens, the technical manager here of Tyler's Turf, is clearly a man ecstatic about grass.
I swear if you cut me open I'd bleed chlorophyll. I would bleed green, but yeah, turf is my passion. You know, every day I get up in the morning, I say, yeah, let's go look at some more grass.
And there's no shortage of grass to look at. At 2,000 acres, it's one of the largest turf farms in the UK.
A lot of people really don't understand the size of the scale of the operation here, but 1,100 football pitches put together just gives people a better idea just the magnitude and size of the farm itself.
The farm grows a variety of lawns, including wildflower meadows, golf greens, and home garden lawns. And they all start with preparing the soil for the seed.
We're looking at beautiful, light, sandy loam soils here, perfect for growing turf on. The quality of the soil is very important. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're just growing a little window box of turf or whether you're growing a great big turf farm like this. The quality of that growing medium will dictate how successfully and ultimately the quality of the lawn that you're trying to establish.
After the soil's been meticulously prepared, it's seeded. Now Richard advises it's hugely important to use the right seeds, so always go to a reputable supplier.
We're into another one of our multitude of fields here at Tillers. The seed is incredibly important because ultimately it's going to dictate to us the quality of the final product. We've got the final seed bed down now, the seed all beautifully in position, beautifully spaced, perfect application rate. You're going to get lots of care, lots of loving, lots of attention over the next summer.
Well, lucky seed. And after all the pampering, which includes being watered from more than 1,000 overground sprinklers, the seeds spring to life, creating the perfect blanket of grass which needs to be trimmed to perfection. And on a farm where size really is everything, meet the mightily impressive V-Mow.
This is the biggest mower in our fleet at 16 metres wide, 23 cutting units, amazing productivity. We're looking at over 200 football pitches per hour to put it in size perspective. Just an amazing piece of kit. And obviously with the size of the operation here and the size of the farm, that machine is critical to our day-to-day mowing.
And if you're wondering why the lawn clippings get left behind, it's because during spring and summer, they provide up to 30% of the lawn's required nutrients. And it's clearly working, as the final result is a lawn that will see your neighbours green with envy.
This is really our Rolls-Royce of products for your garden. And this is our Arena Gold. So the next stage for this is for the harvesters to come and harvest it.
And yes, you've guessed it. Harvesting calls for another huge machine. This twin-row Auto Stack 2 cuts a whopping 50 rolls per minute And when it's all done, the turf is loaded onto a lorry to make its way to its new home.
There's going to be some very, very happy lawn keepers out there when it arrives.
I'll say, Richard. Around the globe, dozens of lawn fanatics are creating incredible patterns to be crowned champion of the world. The Creative Lawn Stripes competition was set up 9 years ago by leading lawnmower specialist Highclere Mowers. Gone are the days of just straight lines. Now the talented lawn obsessives create works of art of all shapes and sizes. In Exeter, 44-year-old train driver Kevin Morgan has just started his entry for this year's competition.
Yeah, I would say I am obsessed with it. I found myself watching football matches on the TV and looking more at the pitch than I did the actual game. I try not to walk on the design once I've done it, because if not, I'll leave footprints. I don't like footprints. I always think I can do better, and I think that's what keeps me going. I'm just trying to find perfection, but I haven't found it yet.
With such attentiveness to your lawn, I bet you're a doting husband.
I'm Becky, I'm Kevin's long-suffering wife.
Or maybe not.
You hear about golf widows, I'm definitely a lawn widow. The day that I went into labour with our youngest, Kevin asked me if he had time to mow the lawn and stripe it before we went into the hospital. And as a dutiful wife, I agreed and continued to pace around having contractions while he was out striping the lawn before we could go off to hospital to have our youngest.
But fear not, the lawn looked immaculate. Oh, and they got to the hospital just in time.
Different mower. This is the mower to finish with.
He's got a bit of OCD in the house, and I think since we've had children, he knows he can't control that, whereas he feels the garden is an area he can control.
So how exactly does this pristine lawn and children work?
Okay, Ben? Yeah, of course you can. But what do you need to do? You need to... On the light stripe, well done. Go on then. On the light stripe. They know once you've got the light and the dark stripes, if they run on the light stripes, they're going to be running with the grass, as in they're not going to be leaving footprints on it. I can't stop the kids going on it as much as I'd like to. It depends on if they're just running around on it, then it's not too bad. But I certainly wouldn't be letting them ride their bikes or you know, walking around on it and doing sliding tackles, playing football, things like that. I think I'd probably have a few sleepless nights if I caught them doing that, to be honest. But I'm never quite sure what's going on when I'm not here. So maybe the next job would be to put some sort of cameras up so I can keep an eye on what's going on when I'm not here, but I just think I'd go even greyer, to be honest.
Yeah, best leave that idea alone, Kev. So with all these rules on the pitch, what do the neighbours think?
I'm Angie, I'm Kev's next door neighbour. Kev's lived there maybe about 7 years now, and he's always been obsessed with his lawn. And he's finally succumbed and started looking after ours. Here you go, Kev.
Oh, just in time, Ange.
The usual.
Oh, thanks very much.
We've now got the agreement that if he's out cutting the grass, we keep him supplied in the wets. So we get him a pint of cider or whatever we have on tap at the time. I think he's always been obsessed. It's obviously a bit of a fetish.
I like to just get some spikes on, the old spike shoes, or just open up the surface a little bit, just to get some much needed air and moisture into the root zone, just to aid the grass.
And it's not just a pair of heels Kevin's invested in to achieve the perfect look.
This is a sprinkler system that I installed. Got the app on my phone, and it's just a case of tapping and starting. And there we go, the sprinkler comes on. I invested in a weather station a few years ago, so obviously the We've got all the different sensors. We've got the wind, we've got how much rain, the temperature gauge is all on there, wind direction. So this is the here and now. So at the moment, outdoors, 21.6 and rising. It's always trying to stay one step ahead of the weather, trying to plan.
You might be able to control the weather, but Kevin, one thing you can't control is the Creative Stripes competition.
I came third in the international lawn striping competition back in 2016. Yeah, it's probably one of the most proudest moments of my life, actually. The design that I came third in was like a bullseye sort of crop pattern design, a circular pattern. I was out there going over and over that to really make it stand out. But like I've said to everybody, nobody remembers third, nobody remembers bronze medal, do they? So third, it's not good enough.
Well, then it's a good job you're entering again.
My entry this year is going to be a mix of straight and curved lines and patterns. It's going to be fairly intricate. It might need me to go over with a brush, but yeah, I don't want to go into too much detail of what it's going to be, just in case somebody thinks, hang on a minute, that's pretty good. I might design that myself. It's the biggest competition, and hopefully one day I'll win it. But yeah, it's what I'll work towards all summer, and yeah, who knows? Maybe this year will be the year. You know, it's what I'm working towards, and I'm not going to be happy until I've won it. To say at your lawn, your stripes are the best in the world, it's got to, you know, you're a world champion at lawn striping. That's massive. For me, that's the Olympics. That's the gold medal champion of the world.
The winner will be announced later in the year. Let's hope it'll be King Kev. Now, one thing all our lawn lovers agree on is that their lawnmower is their shining star. Gliding across their perfect plots, it's a doddle to keep grass looking at its best, and there's so much choice. There's push models, giant models, and even robots that do it for you. But to one man, these marvellous mowers are so much more than just machines.
So, welcome to the British Lawn Mower Museum. Sure you'll find it a cut above the rest.
Brian started this internationally renowned lawnmower museum in the 1980s. It's an Aladdin's cave of mowers of all different shapes and sizes.
A lot of the machines have got their own history and a character that's not often seen nowadays.
Brian's collected a massive 1,000 machines, but mowers all started with this model here.
It's a replica of the very first lawnmower invented by Edwin Beardbuddin in 1830. Edwin never set out to make a lawnmower. He worked in a woolen mill in Stroud in Gloucester, and the mill owner got an order for some guardsmen's uniforms. And the mill owner went to Edwin Buddin, who was a bit of a problem solver, and he said, make me a machine for cutting all the tufts and the bobbly bits off the cloth, because I want the cloth to be perfect. And what Edwin made was a spinning blade over a fixed blade, and he also found that it cut the grass very efficiently. The principle he made has never been bettered to this day. It's still the best way of cutting grass for a formal lawn.
Edwin's genius machine made lighter work of mowing, which led the way for people being able to have lawns in their own gardens. But before these lighter models were invented, animals, most commonly donkeys, powered the machines. London Zoo, however, who were one of the first companies to buy a mower, went for something a little more exotic.
And they used the camel, which is ideal because it wouldn't get hoof prints in the freshly cut grass. Otherwise, people perhaps would have got the hump about it.
Brian's treasure trove of machines includes the first petrol mower, the first robo-mower, which cost £1 million to develop, and some rather high-profile models.
We have some lawnmowers of the rich and famous. This is one of them, and it belonged to Brian May from the rock band Queen. This is another machine from our lawnmowers of the rich and famous, and it belonged to Eric Morecambe, and it's one of Lancashire's 70 special objects.
There's also Paul O'Grady's, Richard and Judy's, and even one from the Royals.
This is a famous garden tractor. It belonged to Prince Charles and Princess Diana, and it was one of their wedding presents.
And whilst all this is highly impressive, one of the biggest surprises is behind Brian's calm exterior, there's a speed demon.
Lawnmower racing, it's a great sport. Doesn't cost you an arm and a leg unless you run over yourself. And it's just great fun. Sterling Moss, quite a keen lawnmower racer, Noel Edmonds, Chris Tarrant. Once the machines go above 50 miles an hour, sometimes they have a mind of their own, but luckily I held the championship for a couple of years as a lawnmower racing champion.
Go, Brian! Now, what if you want a pristine lawn but don't want the hassle of taking care of it? You opt for the most controversial grass of all, fake. But love it or hate it, AstroTurf does have its place, like here in Birmingham, in Pat Dryberg's garden.
We've been trying to grow grass in the garden after having the garden landscaped, and just found it incredibly difficult. The grass was very patchy. Then in the winter months, it'd be very boggy, very waterlogged. And I did everything that the YouTube videos would tell me to do, how often to water it, I fed it, whatever we were trying to do, it just wouldn't grow. So we decided to get the lads in and get the garden done.
Sam and Christian are transforming Pat's rather sad-looking garden into an oasis of green.
People want real grass. Obviously, it's natural. But sometimes to have a nice family home, or to have just a nice-looking garden, that's not always the case. Like you said with the trees, that's nicking all the nutrients out of the ground from the original grass. Grass hasn't got a chance to grow.
Pat has opted for a 30mm pile, but this is just one of the many options. Gone is the neon green AstroTurf of the 90s. Now it's like choosing a carpet. There's varying thicknesses, finishes, and even grass imperfections to make it look as real as possible. And it's in hot demand. In a survey of 1,000 homes, 25% said they've moved into the world of fake grass. The cheapest can be as little as £5 per square metre, rising to around £30 for a bit more luxury, with fitting costs on top.
Done footballers' houses, I've done the surround of Wembley, other famous people, Hampton Court Palace. We've done quite a bit of work there actually.
Looks like you're in good company, Pat.
Having this artificial grass hopefully will mean that we can invite the family over, put the barbecue on, and get the family round and just enjoy our surroundings.
In just one day, Pat's grassless lawn is no longer. Yes, it might be fake plastic grass, but there's no denying the end result.
What do you think? You like it? Oh, looks really good. Wow, eh? So much better.
Pat is clearly in fake grass bliss, and when something makes you feel this good, how can it possibly be wrong?
When I look at the size of the garden now, it looks so much bigger than it did before. It'll change the way we use our space outside. It's not too far off feeling, not perfectly like grass, but not too far off what perfect grass.
An instant fuss-free lawn that will last for up to 20 years. No mowing, weeding or watering, just a quick hoover, which means loads of time for fun.
Nice. Yeah, better than what we had before. Yeah.
In Britain, 15 million lawns of all shapes and sizes are on a grassy identity parade. And standing out from the crowd are the stripy lawn regiment, strong in force. And whilst many of us fight for the perfectly manicured lawn, the complete opposite is also becoming popular. Hidden amongst this mini jungle in Derby, a revolution is happening.
I think there needs to be a cultural change to stop seeing the need to mow your lawn into absolute oblivion. Why create a green desert when it can be your own little oasis for wildlife?
Karim Vahed is a professor of entomology, which is the study of insects to you and me. He's seeing a worrying decline in our important pollinators like bees and butterflies, which is mainly because 98% of our wildflower meadows, like this one, have disappeared since World War II. To help, Karim believes we should let a section of our own garden grass grow free, or create our own wildflower lawn.
Anyone who has a lawn is in a position to make a difference. Lawns in the UK, gardens in the UK, make up a bigger area than our national nature reserves. So you can create your own midi meadow in your lawn, either by leaving the lawn and cutting it every 4 weeks to see what you get. Think short plants like clovers, birdsfoot trefoil will flourish in that sort of environment, which are great nectar sources. Or you can deliberately turn your lawn into a wildflower meadow.
And if you do, you'll be rewarded with a whole heap of grasses and flowers like these, which attract lots of the all-important wildlife.
As you can see, the wildflower meadow, as its name suggests, is absolutely full of nectar sources. So here, for example, we have knapweed. The bees, bumblebees, absolutely love this.
Karim has been looking after this wildflower or hay meadow for around 15 years.
Red clover is a plant that you can get in your lawns, but here we see a red clover that's grown to its full luxuriant extent. Another great thing about this traditional hay meadow is the diversity of grasses. Each of these is a different species of grass. You can buy lawn mixes that contain all of these wildflowers to make your own wildflower meadow.
Karim's own back garden is a mecca for wildlife, with free-flowing flowers and plants. But he's keen to grow his own small wildflower lawn to help even more. Once he's prepared the area by removing any existing vegetation and given it a rake, he's ready to go.
So we used a mix that's got 26 species of native wildflowers that are found in meadows and 10 species of native grasses, which are fairly slow-growing and fairly fine species, so they're not going to outcompete the wildflowers.
Next, he mixes the seed thoroughly before starting to sprinkle.
Otherwise, the heavier seeds sink to the bottom and you'll end up with great big clumps of flowers and areas of just pure grass, which you obviously don't want. So we want to sow 5 grams per metre square. So simply, the next step is to spread the seed evenly.
Finally, after a light raking, he adds water.
The best time of year to sow a mini meadow is either September or before May.
Although Karim makes it look easy, if you fancy your own wildflower lawn but aren't green-fingered, you can buy one from turf farms or specialists.
So fingers crossed, if I water this enough and it doesn't dry out, we should be developing a nice wildflower meadow to enjoy next spring and summer.
And until then, Karim and his son can enjoy the 3 acres of wildflower meadow he looks after. And for an entomologist, it means seeing what bugs are lurking beneath. One man whose lawn is the complete opposite and trimmed to exactly 10 millimetres is Stuart Grindel, who we met earlier in Doncaster.
Oh, it's an obsession. It's an obsession.
Stuart is a man very much in love with his perfect grass, And after winning the coveted title of Britain's Best Lawn in 2017, he's not letting his standards slip. But there's a problem. His body is saying otherwise.
Well, I've had 4 hip replacements. I've had 2 shoulder replacements, 5 toes. The joints take now because the toes clawed up. I've got atrial fibrillation, chronic kidney failure. I've always said when I die, they'll not bury me, they'll melt me down. And they'll make a fortune.
Despite this rather long list of ailments, Stuart's not giving up without a fight.
You've got to accept what comes along and be grateful that I've got to 78, nearly 79, and I'm still stood up. It's so easy to sit back and become sedentary and make an excuse that, oh, I can't do it, I've got backache. But if you did that, then I couldn't have a garden like this. And I want a garden like this. I take great pride in it.
And so you should. But for all the jobs he can no longer do, Stuart now has Dan the man.
What about overseeding, Dan?
Can do a little bit if you want.
Oversee those areas?
Yeah.
Would you?
Just going to do these patches here.
Looks better already, Dan.
Dan works as deputy manager at Doncaster Golf Course, but regularly helps Stuart keep his lawn pristine.
It takes a lot of maintenance. Round the clock, I'm here 3-4 times a week cutting this. So, quite time consuming, but as you can see, it's worth it.
And despite Dan's more than capable credentials, Stuart keeps a very close eye on Dan's work and his beloved lawn.
Could do with some top dressing, Dan. When you come again, can you bring us a bag?
I'll bring you a bag full, yeah. We'll get some on it.
Haven't we got a wonderful garden?
Yes.
Good.
But Stuart doesn't just keep his garden for himself. Every July for the last 15 years, he's held open days and raised thousands of pounds for charity. Just no high heels allowed.
I get a great deal of satisfaction. I open the garden and people come and no end get on their hands and knees and say, this is not grass, is it? I say, yeah. Oh, yeah. It wants cutting, so it must be grass.
So there you have it. We've seen big, small, trimmed, patterned, and wild, proving that when it comes to lawns, there's no such thing as lawn and total order. Beauty, after all, is in the eye of the beholder. And no matter if you spend hours or minutes on your grass each week, take a leaf out of these obsessives books and just make sure you enjoy your lawn.